And just want So, without further ado, again, just want to say good evening. And at the top of this, I want to shout out to every member of the FOF team. So, everyone in our state leadership, every organizer across every region. We are in Philadelphia, in Delaware. We are in Chester and Montgomery. We are in Lehigh Valley. We are in NEPA. We are in Central. We are in Allegheny County. And so they have worked so incredibly hard to put on this event to make sure that we all have an opportunity to ask the questions, but also to show our support for candidates who are on the ballot on November 7th. I want to say again, my name is Ashley McBride. I serve as State Director for Our Future. And I want to just welcome you to this judicial forum hosted by For Our Future. I'll be your host for this evening. And before we dive into the forum, let's admit all of our guests. So anyone who might still be in the waiting room, let's just make sure that we've given them an opportunity to join in. And it looks like we got a pretty full house. There's 73 people who have joined us on the Zoom tonight. Hopefully more will join us. Again, it's not too late. If you have family or friends, this election is so critically important. So we want to make sure that we're sharing this with every single person that we have an opportunity to. But again, I want to thank you all for being here. We have, again, just a great evening ahead where we will get to know more about the candidates who are vying for the crucial positions in Pennsylvania's judiciary. But before we get started, let me provide a brief overview of what's at stake in this election. Pennsylvanians will vote in a critical election this November, from school boards all the way up to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. The stakes are high. MAGA Republicans are trying to spread their far-right agenda to our classrooms, our courtrooms, and communities. Our rights and freedoms are under attack, fueled by one single PA Republican billionaire who is calling the shots on who's chosen candidates. Judges at all levels will hear cases from people directly in our communities and make decisions that impact each of us on reproductive rights, on voting laws, and on community safety, on education, on the environment, and so much more. We are fortunate tonight to have two judges who are running for higher courts with us tonight. We want to welcome, of course, Judge Timika Lane and Judge Matt Wolf. We will hear from them in just a second, but this is just a little bit about them. Judge Lane is currently serving on the Court of Common Pleas for Philadelphia County. She believes that everyone who comes before her as a judge deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, no matter of their background. She is committed to applying the law fairly and to protecting the rights of all Pennsylvanians. We also are so happy to have Judge Matt Wolf, who has been in the United States military for over 20 years and today serves as a Cavalry Scout soldier in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. He is currently the supervising civil judge of the Philadelphia Municipal Courts. So again, just want to take an opportunity to thank them. And without further ado, I just want to make sure that I see Judge Lane. Ted, can you just confirm that I have Judge Lane on the line? And if not, we'll pause for a second. But if it's okay for us to move forward, and Judge Wolf, you don't mind, if I could give you the floor and opportunity just to introduce yourself briefly. You can share anything you would like. This is a friendly group, a supportive group, and folks who want to hear from you. So if I could give you just a second, but we're so happy that you could join us on this evening. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all. You all are key to this election. Turnout of the voters in this election is going to be key, and you all are doing the hard work that's necessary for that to happen. A little bit more about me. I want you to feel comfortable talking on my behalf when you're out there. I'm a civil rights trial attorney by trade. So I was a trial attorney. I tried cases for people who represented a lot of women in sexual harassment, wrongful termination lawsuits, a lot of pregnancy discrimination cases. I took cases to trial, quid pro quo sexual harassment, hostile work environment sexual harassment, whistleblower cases. I also represented people against the police for in cases. I had case of riding a bicycle while black. I had a case of driving while black, just walking while black, and I sued the police on behalf of those folks successfully. I'm a civil rights advocate. I was elected in 2017. I've been on the Philadelphia Municipal Court for close to 6 years. In 2020, I was asked to be the supervising civil judge. I was aware of inequities out of our court at that time, and I took the job with some hesitation, but I have embraced it. And I've worked under a grant with the Pew Charitable Trust with the National Center for State Courts to focus the court on equity and access to justice. And we've done that for 3 years now, really changing the court a lot to make it more inclusive, more transparent, and having less of a harmful impact than we were before I took the job. Very proud of my record. I was recognized by the Bar Association with the Judge Lewis Pollock Award. Judge Pollock was somebody that worked with Thurgood Marshall on Brown versus Board of Education. So that's like a great high honor for a civil rights trial attorney, now judge, to receive that honor. You know, when I get interviewed, recently the Philadelphia Inquirer interviewed me and my opponent, and they asked who our heroes were. And she said, Sam Alito, Justice Alito. And I said, Thurgood Marshall. So, you know, that's the difference between her and me. I'm going to stand behind civil rights. The United States Supreme Court is trying to roll back civil rights. And the Commonwealth Court is the court that's going to be a barrier to the government to try to roll back rights. I'm against book burning. And I have a track record that's going to say that I'm going to stand up for civil rights going forward. So this is a statewide election. I'm looking forward to getting a good turnout throughout the state. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming out and listening to me tonight and everything you're going to do at the election. Thank you very much.
My apologies, trying to get off mute. Certainly, Judge Wolf, we are so grateful to have you on this evening. Again, thank you for so much for telling us a little bit more about yourself, about your candidacy. We know that you have crisscrossed the state, that you are talking to voters everywhere. But we love for if you would just take an opportunity, if we could ask 2 questions this evening. We have 2 of our organizers who are joining us. Hameen Diggins, who is in the Philadelphia, Delaware region, and he is going to come with his first question on tonight. Hameen?
Yes, hello everybody. How are you, Judge Matt Wolf? How are you? So here's a question that I have. Pennsylvanians are facing a critical election, and the stakes are high for our state. With issues like reproductive rights, ethics, elections, and there's more on the line. It's critical that voters understand the significance of their choice. Can you share with us your views on what's at stake in the election and how our values align with the concerns of everyday Pennsylvanians?
Absolutely. There's a stark contrast between me and my Republican opponent. She's an originalist, or so she says, that the Constitution should be interpreted the way it was when we had flintlock rifles and when we just broke away from Britain and people wore tri-corner hats. And I don't subscribe to that philosophy because that is an archaic pretextual way of interpreting that the Federalist Society developed to be kind of a bellwether for conservative candidates. There's so much on the line. Reproductive rights were rolled back to 1970 in the federal context with the Dobbs decision. And everybody in judicial circles talks about the fact that they're going to start coming for rights in the states, specifically reproductive rights. And that is something that we have to be aware of. The Commonwealth Court, the court I'm running for, is a court that's going to hear those kinds of claims. It hears governmental related claims. Reproductive rights are a governmental claim, and they're going to fall into that forum. You know, it's the only court in the country that stopped the vote count when Trump was challenging the authenticity of his loss. So this was an election that was clearly won by Joe Biden, and the only judge in the country that stopped the count was on the court that I am running for. That judge just tried to run for the Supreme Court and lost in the primary. Everything that affects your day-to-day life in terms of rights is going to go through that court. The Commonwealth Court hears thousands of cases a year. The Supreme Court only hears about 150 cases a year. So I suggest that the Commonwealth Court is going to have a more direct effect on people's lives than any other court. So your question is pointed and on point. I'm endorsed by Planned Parenthood PA PAC. My opponent is endorsed by several pro-life organizations. And so that's a stark contrast in who we have supporting us in the background. All right.
Okay, thank you for that. Ashley, I see that we got Judge Lane also on here. Is it possible for me to repeat my question for her?
Could I finish up and go? I'm at the AFL-CIO event here in Bucks County, and they're
Sure.
probably waiting for me to address them. And I got to tell you, Timika is awesome. I'm afraid to follow her because she's so good at speaking that she makes me look bad. So I'd love to finish up, go in, and then let y'all get Timika to fire you up. And I say that knowing she's listening because I think she's awesome. So was there another question for me?
There is, and we're going to go to Sean Riley at this time. He serves as a senior organizer in our NEPA Central Lehigh Valley region. So Sean, the next question for Judge Wolf comes from you. I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Ashley. And thank you, Judge Wolf, for joining us this evening. My question, and you mentioned it a bit just a moment ago, but the narrative for this election emphasizes protecting rights and freedoms, including reproductive rights and the freedom to vote. How do you plan to ensure that the Pennsylvania judiciary upholds these essential rights for our citizens while also considering the concerns of those who may hold a different viewpoint?
Sure. So I'm a big believer in just following the rule of law and doing what's right. And the narrative in this election that the Republicans are putting forward is there should not be activist judges and that they're going to follow the law. Two things. First, that's what all the justices who helped overturn Dobbs said when they were being confirmed by the Senate, and they pulled the wool over the eyes of Americans who thought that they were actually going to follow the rule of law. The difference between them and me is that I will follow the rule of law, and I will, as a civil rights trial attorney previously and a judge who's focused on equity and access to justice, I'm going to be in that direction. I can't say specifically how I would do things because judges aren't supposed to say how they would rule or what they would do. All I can tell you is that my track record speaks for itself. So I'm not going to make any promises about what I'm going to do. I'm going to point to my history as a judge and as a civil rights attorney representing people against powerful interests to say that you can trust me and that I'll make you proud if I win.
Thank you so much, Judge Wolf. Really appreciate you taking time out of this evening. As some have already noted, we are also very happy and elated to have Judge Timika Lane join us. But Judge Wolf, if you wouldn't mind either just giving individuals who have joined us this evening, how can they find out more about your campaign, your candidacy? Is there a website? Also, if we have any additional questions, we just want to make sure that we can connect those questions that individuals may have tonight with you.
Okay. All my socials are at Judge Matt Wolf. So Instagram, Facebook, Threads, which was going to be big, but doesn't seem to be big. And then I'm also on Twitter as at Judge Matt Wolf. So my website is judgemattwolf.com, and my email is Matt, M-A-T-T, at judgemattwolf.com. So feel free to reach out to me. I do respond. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And certainly, again, I thank you for those, our chat captains. If you could just make sure that we put that information in the chat. So if there's anyone who has a question for Judge Wolf after this evening's event, we can make sure that they are connected. But again, thank you so very much.
All right. Have a great night, y'all.
You too. All right. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do my thing because we are so happy also again to have Judge Timika Lane join us. So we're going to go back and do the intro and all of that. She is currently serving on the Court of Common Pleas for Philadelphia County. She believes that everyone who comes before her as a judge deserves to be treated with dignity and respect no matter their background. She is committed to applying the law fairly and to protecting the rights of all Pennsylvanians. Judge Lane, we are so happy to have you. Want to turn it over to give you an opportunity to address us in whatever way you see fit. Feel free to share anything about your campaign and your candidacy. And we hope that you can stay with us just a few minutes after to take a few questions. And I'm turning it over to you now, Judge Lane.
Well, let me tell you, I'm just so excited. Can you guys hear me, first of all?
Yes,
you
we hear you. How you going to be driving in the car with me? I know you got to go all over the place. I am happy.
Yes. You hear my head is blinking, right? I had to pull over. But I just want to say, I just scrolled down when Matt was talking and I saw all of your faces on here, and I'm just so excited and appreciative of all the hard work that you are doing and continue to do to make sure that people are paying attention to this judicial election because it matters. You guys know that more than ever. I know Matt probably already gave a whole spill, but there is so much on the line in this election, from a woman's right to choose to voting rights to, we saw everything being kicked from the U.S. Supreme Court back to the state courts, where they said it was okay to discriminate against someone if you don't, LGBTQ people. You know, it's okay to ban affirmative action. You know, now race is not a factor. It's okay to limit voting rights. It's okay to tell women they don't have control of their bodies, their reproductive rights. All of these things are not happening in a vacuum. But what we can do here in Pennsylvania is that we can have a say as to who we want on these courts. We vote. That's how we have a say. The U.S. Supreme Court, we know how they are there. They are there because they are nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. But we have a very different election process here in Pennsylvania for our state court judges. I am one of two people running for Superior Court, and the Superior Court is often the final stop, as you guys know, because most people's cases won't make it to the Supreme Court. So it is so important to get the word out about why these courts matter, why judges matter, and why we need everyone to show up, not alone, but with your family, your friends, your neighbor, somebody that you met at the gas station. Say, are you voting? When you are getting that gum in Sheets or Wawa or 7-Eleven, are you registered to vote? That's how we will do it. We know that a billionaire has dumped millions in this race, but we can't be bought because we know what is at stake and we know what we want Pennsylvania to be and can be, because democracy was founded right here. And you elect this slate, we're going to make sure that freedom is still ringing. So thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. All right. So this is for people who are Pennsylvania based, we just got a question for you. Are you going with Sheets or Wawa? That's all we want to know. Where you getting the same? You going
well,
to
let
Sheets?
me tell you. So let me tell you this. I'm going to be honest. So I love Wawa, right? Born and raised on it. But Sheets is like my mobile office because I'm always at Sheets because I'm on the road.
Okay, see
So-
but even though they're my people in Nipa and Allegheny County who are over here big in the chat on sheets, we are certainly appreciate. I just want to give you just for a second. We're so glad that you joined us tonight. I just want to read off a few numbers to you: 81,062 knocks, 676,671 calls, 656,783 SMS. So the people who have jumped on here tonight, many of them are organizers for Our Future. A lot of them are our family, our friends, volunteers who have joined us. And that is what this collective team has been able to do, to educate people,
Yes.
to mobilize people, and to talk about the importance of this race. And so I just want them to all give themselves a round of applause, but we're out here, we're really want to make sure that we are letting everyone across the Commonwealth know. I know we got it. I know you have a busy schedule, but we're hoping that you could just take a few minutes and answer some questions that our organizers, if you wouldn't mind.
You guys are so funny in this chat. Y'all are cracking me up. I love it. Y'all are funny.
Y'all need to stop. I don't know about this sheet, but I'm gonna let y'all have it because I was finna say, is it the Eagles or the Steelers? But I won't even do y'all like that because I know somebody got thoughts about it. I'm not gonna ask you. I know you got a campaign all across, but if I could at this time, I want to turn it over to Cece, who is one of our organizers in Allegheny County, for a question for you, if that's okay. Cece?
Yes, absolutely.
Wawa does have pizza, y'all. Every time I go into Wawa, I want to.
We're not gonna talk about Wawa pizza. Cut it out now. Now y'all acting up.
Okay, all right, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. Let's focus. It's a race. It's a race.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashley. Judge Lane, I'm a huge fan. I have a question about transparency and trustworthiness because they're critical for voters. Can you talk about why voters should trust that you will apply the law fairly and protect the rights of all Pennsylvanians?
That's easy. I've been a judge now for a decade. Look at my record. Look how everyone who comes before me, they are treated with dignity and respect. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care where you're from, what religion you practice, who you love. None of that matters. What matters is that we all deserve to be treated that way. And that we all deserve to have our voices heard, and we all deserve a fair trial. So that's very easy for me because I have a proven track record of doing just that. And I actually just left a function where people who have appeared before me, they were like, oh my gosh. And they were like telling people about their experience before me. And I'm like, well, I'm glad that they felt heard, because that's my goal every day. And I would like to now expand that to all of Pennsylvania instead of just my courtroom in Philadelphia.
Thank you so much, Judge Lane. Can you take a few more questions? Just a few more. We won't hold you too long. All right, absolutely.
And just remind people that a judge can take away your property, your liberty, your family, your kids, your home. They can take away all of your rights with a stroke of a pen. That's how important it is. We focus so much on a presidential or a governor or, these legislative races, and they do an excellent job in a vital function. But then all of these things wind up in court, and the courts have the final say. So we have to make sure that we are not neglecting them. And some of you may know how I feel about that. I talk about the great, American poet, Justin Timberlake, how he's talking about he's bringing sexy back. But that's what's happening with these courts. We're bringing it back to the forefront so people can talk about it because it's that important.
Absolutely. So did you call it great poet, Justin Timberlake? I mean, some folks on here might be too young to even know who Justin Timberlake, but I'm with you.
They might be. I look.
Making the court sexy. Absolutely. I think we talk about that so much again, like at the top of this call, that a lot of people out here, they vote, they talk about voting in a presidential and in a gubernatorial, but again, this election is equally important, if not more important. So again, we thank you. I'm gonna turn over the next question to CJ, who is in our Montgomery County. CJ, your next question for Judge Lane.
Thank you so much for that, Ashley. I appreciate it. And how you doing, Justice Lane? I appreciate you being here. My question is for interest as well as accountability. And the question is, we have special interests and big money coming, and they can influence our elections and decision making. How do you plan to maintain your independence as a judge? All that being said.
Because of the big money that's pouring into these races? There sure is. And they are going, if you look, there is one man, a billionaire, the richest man in Pennsylvania. He poured in over $11 million into these state court races. and it was not for anybody on the Democratic side. So we cannot let these courts be bought. That's what I was saying earlier. And it really is a shame that so much money is being poured in and people just don't even realize it. You know, and time again, we see that everything is coming back to the courts and how important courts are. We just have to make sure that we get that word out to everybody. Because I know just walking down the street, people are looking at, you know, what are they going to rule the U.S. Supreme Court, or what's going to happen with somebody's rights? You know, somebody had a trial in the street and he's like, yeah, I'm going to take an appeal. And I was like, where's that going to go? He's like, I don't know. I was like, exactly, the Superior Court. You know, like people don't equate that sometimes. But that the Superior Court is the court where you have a constitutional right to appeal. But you don't have that for the Supreme Court. You know, that only applies to Superior. And that's why most cases stop there. Because the Superior Court, they get to decide, pick and choose what cases they want to hear. And as far as all the money that is in this race, this is just the cycle that we're in, but I know that we can overcome that. And we've been very transparent, crisscrossing this state, letting people know who we are and what we are about. Because I can tell you this, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for y'all. I'm doing it for our kids in the future and what we want Pennsylvania to be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Judge Lane. One last question from Larry Robinson, who is in Chester County. Larry, if you could share your question with Judge Lane tonight.
Let me get on that.
I see you. We see you, Larry.
Thank you. Listen, I want to welcome everybody. Welcome all of our attendees, all our guests and staff, and a special welcome to Judge Lane. This question is about local impact and everyday issues. Now, judges at all levels, from school boards to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, have the power to make decisions that directly impact communities. Can you explain how your position and decisions on the bench will positively affect the everyday lives of Pennsylvanians, particularly concerning issues like education, community safety, and the environment?
Well, as a judge, you know, that's my duty, is to sit there and hear cases. I preside over jury and bench trials, but also the way I was brought up. You know, my grandmother worked in the cafeteria. My dad was a Marine. My mom was a cop. They really much instilled giving back in community service. So while I've been on the bench, I was co-chair of Advancing Civics Education, where judges and lawyers go into high schools, well, public schools, because we also go into middle schools and sometimes elementary schools, and talk about civics, because that is so important to me and that matters. I also sit on community panels talking about what judges do, you know, and so people can understand the process, because people don't always understand that. They don't understand the diversity of the Court of Common Pleas and all the areas of law. So these are some of the things that I do.
Thank you so much, Judge Lane. I really appreciate you joining us tonight. And I think I can speak on behalf of our entire team at FOF. We're so grateful. We're out here. We're rooting for you. We hope that both you and Judge Wolf are victorious on Tuesday, November.
And then we have Judge Dan McCaffrey, who's running for Supreme Court, and Jill Beck is running for Superior Court.
All right,
so I didn't know if Matt said all that.
Take my job. Yes, we are supportive. We are supportive. You are absolutely right. We have other races and we're watching all of those. For anybody who has joined us, certainly again, October 23rd is the last day to register to vote. If you need to update your registration, any of those things, make sure that we take care of that. Judge Lane, I just want to give you an opportunity. If there are any final comments or thoughts, we did see that you put your social media handles and contact information in the chat, and we'll make sure we continue to share that. But anything you want to close us out with tonight?
I just want to remind you and encourage you to continue to keep going, because I know that sometimes you can be tired. You're doing it in all kind of weathers. You're working, you got life going on. And so all that you're doing, we need all of that and more. We are all giving our all. And on behalf of the whole slate, I want to say thank you, because we have to win these seats. We have to make sure that our rights as women, our rights as people to be who we are authentically, we have to protect that. And by doing that, we have to vote to get that done. So just thank you so very much. I appreciate each and every one of you taking your time out this evening to be on this Zoom.
Thank you so much. We hope you will have a wonderful night and safe travels wherever your destination is on this evening. But again, just know that you can count on us, that we are out there. We are knocking doors. We're sending texts. We're making calls for you, and really to be supportive of the ticket and making sure that every Pennsylvania knows what is at stake and why it is so important to show up on November 7th. Again, we want to say thank you to both of our judicial candidates who joined us tonight for their insights and for their dedication to Pennsylvania. Again, as you've heard, this isn't something they aren't new to this. They are true to this. They are both individuals who are veterans, who have served and have spent and really dedicated their life to this. So again, we want to say we appreciate you for your time and your effort and participating in this important forum. I'd like to turn it over to one of our regional organizing directors, Sam, who is going to talk about ways that we can get involved. Sam?
Thank you. And thank you for the justices who attended tonight. It was great to see you again, Justice Timika Lane. So now that everyone has joined us, your involvement is crucial in shaping the future of our great state. If you want to make a real impact and help protect our rights, we encourage you to take action today. You can make a difference by volunteering with For Our Future. We are currently out knocking doors. Knocking doors is the best way to get people to go out and vote. In the Zoom chat box, you'll find a link to sign up to volunteer with us. Just click on that link and you'll have an opportunity to join our team and be a part of the change in Pennsylvania that you want to see. We believe that coming together, we can achieve great things. Your support and involvement matters, and together we can create a bright future for students and our communities and our Commonwealth. Thank you for all being here, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, nice rest of your night.
Thank you again, Sam, and certainly to everyone who has joined us. This concludes our judicial forum tonight, and we appreciate you joining us, and we hope that you found this event to be informative and valuable. Remember, your involvement is crucial in shaping the future of this great Commonwealth. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder to get out and vote on November 7th. Again, you don't even have to wait. You can go right now. We have no excuse absentee voting, or what some people in other states call early voting. You can go into the County Board of Elections. You can request a ballot and vote there. You can also request it by mail to get it delivered to your home, and then you would just need to make sure that you return it to an office by October 31st. Again, it is critically important that we're turning up. This is really about our lives, our future, that of our family, our friends, our loved ones. Again, so we are encouraging you to do everything in your power, not just to show up yourself, but to make sure that we are taking our family and our friends and all of the people that we love to the polls. So again, we say thank you so much for joining us. We hope that each of you all have a wonderful evening. And again, to the FOF team, thank you so much for everything you did to make this event successful, to every individual that you invited, and for coming and joining yourself. Have a wonderful evening.